Hey guys, Kevin, your budget travel guy here, and tonight we're going to talk about rest stops and rest areas because if you're new to this, like I once was, you probably think that you can just go across the country anywhere you're going on the interstate and you would be able to pull off to any state-run rest area that you came to and you'd be able to spend the night, right? Wrong. In most places, wrong. So we're going to give you the short version of where you can actually do this legally, and then we're going to talk about your options for the other places. Okay, in these great United States of ours, where, as far as I know, you have, at least the states I've been to, you have rest areas in every state on the interstates. You would think you're able to pull over and spend the night at these if you need to, especially if you're in an RV, especially if you're in some type of camper van. The answer to that short version is you can't. In fact, out of the 50 states, 40 of them you can't. Here's the 10 that you can. First one is Arizona and Arkansas and Connecticut. Also friendly are Kansas, Nevada, and New Mexico. Then you have Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, and Virginia. So as you can see, our map is not very filled in. It's doing a little better out in the southwest. If you're in the northeast, you are definitely out of luck. If you're going across the country or the middle of the country, you're pretty much out of luck. Now, there are 4 more exceptions to this. The state of New York says you can overnight for emergencies only, whatever that means. So I'm not even going to put that on our little map. Then you have 3 other states, which are Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, that I've marked in blue, where you can only stop at rest areas that are on their turnpike, which I assume means a paid toll road. So if you're cruising on the interstates in the other parts of the state, you're not allowed to stop and overnight. Now, the great thing about the United States is we have these 50 different states that, from the time that they were founded, could all do things their own way. And the really negative part to the fact that we're in the United States and have 50 states that can do things their own way are the fact that anytime you're looking for information, you have 50 different state-run websites that, of course, are all not going to be laid out the same way, so you're not going to be able to find information easy. Now, the answer everybody gives you is, hey, you just go to whatever state Department of Transportation website and find the information you need on what you can do in these rest areas. Again, because it's so different everywhere, you're going to have to spend 20 minutes clicking around trying to find the link and trying to figure out where that information is, because it's all going to be in a different place. That's a real pain. So here's basically what you're looking at for these other states. Other states, rest areas, that's what it means, rest. Stop, relax, get in a cat nap. You are only allowed generally 2 hours or 4 hours in most of these other states. That is it. So that will put an end to your all-nighting in these places. Now, are there some things you can do? Can you try to skirt the law? How much law enforcement is there going to be in these areas? If you pull in at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're trying to get out by 7 o'clock in the morning. If you're traveling like we do and you're doing the VanLIfe and RV life thing, you're probably not going to be driving down the highway at 1 a.m. anyway. We're pretty much into a campsite. Most guys by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they figured out where they're going to sleep for the night. Sometimes I'm out doing things and I run a little bit better than that, but very, very seldom am I trying to figure this stuff out after dark, because it just makes everything harder if you're in an unfamiliar area. It shouldn't be that hard to figure this stuff out, but it is. So, you can make you a little chart of those 10 states plus 3 states, and maybe even tape it up on your dashboard, so as you're traveling, you'll be able to glance at that and see whether it's a state that will allow that. To make it even a little more complicated, even within the same state, different rest areas will sometimes have different rules. So you may pull into one that says, hey, you're allowed to be here for 2 hours. You may go 40 miles up the road to the next one that says, hey, you're allowed to be here for 4 hours or 6 hours. You may go 40, 50 miles to the next one. You're not allowed to park here at all. Get out, pee, get a drink of water, get back in your vehicle, get out of here. So it's going to be hit and miss. You're basically just going to have to look at the signage. If you're trying to plan a trip, though, knowing which states are more friendly for overnight parking is going to be to your advantage. Now, if you are really going to try to skirt the laws, which I don't recommend because I just don't need that kind of hassle in my life. But if you are, some basic common courtesy etiquette things. One is, if you're in an RV and you have levelers, don't put them down. One, that says, hey, I'm here for a while. And number two, you should know by now that slamming levelers down on asphalt can cause little dents in it, can cause it to break and crack, can cause all kinds of problems. This is why people don't want you in their parking lots doing it. This is why it has become such a hassle with people doing things even at Walmarts, because there's people that pull in there and act like they can do whatever they want to. Dude, dudette, you're not in a campground. It's short term what you're doing. Don't put your leveling jacks down. If a little gust of wind rocks your RV, you'll be okay. Second thing, if you have an RV and you have slides, if you're throwing those slides out and trying to settle in for the night, that makes it pretty obvious to law enforcement or whoever comes by that you plan on being there for a while. So if you're in one of those states where they really frown on that, you can expect a knock on the door and being disturbed and being sent on down the highway. Maybe you get by with it, maybe you don't. But do you really need to take that chance? Do you really need that aggravation? So anyway, in between the travel videos, I try to throw some stuff in there about vans. I try to throw some videos in there of places we've been. Watch the ones that interest you, and I'll keep trying to bring you things that will be of use to you. If you have questions or comments or other videos you'd like to see, feel free to stick those down in the comment section. I've had a few people that just seem to get a little excitable sometimes because they want to see a certain video and they don't understand why I don't have it done in the next 2 days. Sometimes I'm busy. I actually still work part-time. Sometimes I am on the road traveling and I'm outside of services. I just don't have time to pull the information together and do a video. But if you come up with a good topic, I have a list already of a bunch that I've looked up myself, that I've thought about myself, that friends have mentioned to me, that some of you guys and gals on here have asked about. I have a list of things that you would not believe that are going to be coming throughout the rest of this year. So if you're already on the road doing your adventures, hopefully this will help you. If you're just kind of watching and learning and thinking about how you want to do your vacations or how you want to do trips, or maybe get into something like VanLIfe someday, this will benefit you too. Because even if you're going out on short trips, you're going to need to know this information, what states you can, what states you can't. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll see you next time.